Mental health. Two words that can stir up a mix of emotions, yet still remain shrouded in silence. We live in a world where we freely discuss our physical health, but when it comes to mental health, the conversation often becomes awkward or uncomfortable. Why is it that when we find it so easy to talk about a broken bone, but yet it's so hard to talk about our broken spirits? The silence is dangerous. It creates a stigma, isolation, lack of understanding. The reality is that mental health is not something that affects only a few, it touches all of us, whether it's directly through someone we care about or not. It doesn't discriminate based on age, race, gender, anything of the sorts. Depression, anxiety, stress, and other mental health struggles are universal experiences that can happen to anyone at any time. Yet many of us feel like we still can't keep these struggles hidden, as if admitting it is not okay and is a sign of weakness. But let me tell you this, struggling with your mental health does not make you weak, it makes you human. We live in a society where strength and resilience, pushing through tough times, keeping up appearances, staying busy even when we feel like we're falling apart. But here's the truth, sometimes pushing through isn't the answer. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop and ask for help, and to take care of yourself. Mental health is just as important as our physical health, yet it's often overlooked. Why wouldn't we hesitate to seek medical help for a broken bone or come down with a serious illness? But the second it comes to our minds, we often feel embarrassed or ashamed to admit it. It's almost as if we believe we should be able to tough it out on our own. This is often a mindset that I feel I've got on my own. A lot of the times I can struggle to open up when I feel as if you gotta buckle down and bite your tongue. But the mind is not separate from the body. Mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety, they're real. They're not something you can simply snap out of. It's not a sign as personal failure. In fact, it takes tremendous strength to face the mental health challenges head on. Oftentimes, it's easy to give up and push those feelings down. But in the long run, the best thing we can do for ourselves is to face that challenge up front, recognize it for what it is, and be strong enough to take the steps to grow from it. The key to understanding mental health is recognizing that it's not about being happy all the time. It's about the balance, the resilience, self care. Just as our physical health requires regular attention, exercise, good nutrition, rest, mental health needs care too. This means taking time to check in with our previous selves, seeking help when we need it, and building supportive connections with the people around us. One of the most damaging things about mental health struggles is the silence that surrounds them. The stigma that keeps people from speaking out, asking for help, and getting the support they need. This silence can be incredibly isolating. Imagine feeling like you're drowning, but being too afraid to call out for help. That's what it can feel like to deal with mental health issues in a world that doesn't always make space for those conversations. We've all heard of phrases like cheer up, stop worrying so much, and it's all in your head. But these kind of statements only add to the problem. They dismiss the very real pain that people are experiencing and make it harder for them to open up. No one should feel ashamed for their mental health. No one should feel like they have to carry that burden alone. Mental health is not a weakness, it's not a character flaw. It's a part of who we are. And the sooner we begin to speak about it openly, the sooner we can break down the walls of the stigma and create a world where people feel safe to ask without fear of judgment. One of the most important things we can do for each other, whether you're someone who's struggling or someone who knows someone who's struggling, support. Support can make all the difference. Support doesn't always have to be giving advice or fixing the problem. Sometimes it's about simply being there, listening without judgment, offering a shoulder to lean on, or reminding someone that they're not alone. We also need to recognize when we ourselves need help. Asking for support is not a sign of failure. In fact, it's a sign of strength. and that shows how much you care about your well-being in order to take action. Therapy, counseling, talking to a trusted friend or family member, these are all tools that can help us navigate these difficult times. Seeking help doesn't mean you're broken, it means you're human, and taking those steps to help you heal and grow. In a world that often glorifies busyness, self-care can sometimes feel like an afterthought. But taking care of your mental health isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Self-care isn't about the bubble baths and candles. Those, though, could help too, I guess. It's about setting boundaries and taking time for yourselves and prioritizing your mental health and emotional well-being. It's about recognizing when you're feeling overwhelmed and giving yourself permission to step back, take a breath, and recharge from it. It's about knowing the rest is not a sign of laziness, but the crucial part of maintaining the balance in your life. We've been conditioned to think that we have to be constantly productive, constantly achieving something, constantly doing anything. But the truth is, none of us can pour from an empty cup. We need to take care of ourselves first, where we can show up fully for the people and things that matter the most to us. So where do we go from this point? How do we start the change in the conversation about mental health? It all starts with us. It starts with being open about our struggles, with checking in on people around us, with being willing to talk about mental health without shame or embarrassment. We need to normalize conversations about anxiety, depression, stress, and many other challenges people face every day. We can't afford to let mental health remain in the shadows. Too many people are suffering in silence, thinking that they're the only ones that feel this way, but they're not. And the more we talk about it, the more we can create a culture of understanding, compassion, and support. Mental health isn't something we can afford to ignore. It's a topic that has to, it's not a topic that can be pushed aside or hidden away. It's real, it's important, and it affects us all the same. The more we talk about it, the more we break it down, the more we can break down the walls of the stigma. So let's check in with ourselves. Let's check in with the people we care about. Let's create spaces where it's okay to not be okay. Whereas asking for help is seen as a sign of strength, and where we all feel supported in our journey toward mental awareness. Because at the end of the day, we all deserve to feel seen, heard, and cared for, both in our body and mind.
I don't know about y'all, that's gorgeous. Love this weather. Just started fall. It's about 70 degrees outside. Hoodie weather. 7:30. On top of a mountain, feels like. Beautiful night. Got a couple projects coming up on the channel. I been getting my name out there. Been getting quite a few people reaching out about, I don't want to say builds necessarily, but just somewhat smaller projects. I'm actually about to start a not a full bike build, but kind of like a full bike rebuild pretty much. I'm excited to do that, and I'm actually starting that this week. Should be a good video. But this video is going to be up this Sunday, and then hopefully the following Sundays after that I can get that bike done and get that video up. I got the head bolts, head gasket for my buggy. Gonna put those on and see if anything's changed. I gotta build this smoker, which I started somewhat at work. Got some guy I'm gonna start working on some saddlebag mounts for his Harley. I think that's what it was, but and then a few other people that's been reaching out about their bikes. So hopefully you can get that in the next couple of videos. Well, guess I should head on home.